The National Qigong Association, also known as the NQA conference, has just finished and we've packed up. And yeah, I thought I'd make a quick vlog about that. So I'm back at Clayton Crosley's place. In fact, he's here. He can say hello. This is Clayton. You've seen him on the vlog before, quite some time ago.
It has been about 5 years, I think.
Yeah, about 5 years. But yeah, if you look back at some of the old episodes, you might see him there. So Clayton is a long white cloud Qigong instructor and also president of the NQA. And so I've been staying at his place with the conference on, and so he's been super busy over this last little while.
Relieved it's over.
Yeah, I'm sure. So we've literally just come back, and I thought I'd make a quick vlog. I'll let you carry on with what you're doing, Clayton.
Thanks.
So the conference went really well. It was great talking to the different attendees and getting their impression of things. There was a really good size group that got together for this, and lots of people really happy with what they experienced at the conference, and like myself, really impressed with the quality of the presenters that were here. I think there were 16 presenters in total presenting different workshops or seminars, well, my own one was really well received, which was nice, but also I was able to, I didn't get to see all of them, but I was able to drop into a fair few of the different workshops and see what they were talking about, what they were demonstrating, and overall I was really impressed with the quality. To have that many experienced, knowledgeable practitioners all together in one place, really quite impressive. And so yeah, overall I think the conference has been a big success. I will be playing some clips. I didn't take too many clips, but a few clips of just some things from the conference here as I talk, so you get a little bit of an idea of what it was like. One thing I found, just as a little bit of a comment, was it was interesting because, again, this is the National Qigong Association. To get more specific, it is a US-based association, clearly, so not all nations, but this national, this nation. There was like a little bit of a flavor, I guess, to the way a lot of the presenters presented, which I found was interesting too, like a little bit of a regionalist, like, oh, okay, this is what a whole lot of Qigong presenters or instructors in this part of the world, this is how they present their information. So yeah, that was interesting to experience. And as well as that, just different perspectives in terms of practices and ways of describing things. There's always something to learn from being in an environment like this and mixing with different practitioners who all have different backgrounds, have come from different schools, and so on. And some of those things are just like little details, and maybe not about the content so much as just the way someone presents something. That's always interesting. But then also, some of the ways people describe some things were quite different. And the good thing about being at a conference like this is there's the opportunity to, if someone says something like, I don't quite get what that means, like that's unusual, that doesn't fit with my experience, previously, there's the opportunity to go talk to the presenters, maybe ask them questions during the conference or during their presentation, or just talk to them afterwards at some point. And there was one thing in particular with one of the presenters, which it was unusual, and he knew it was unusual in terms of terminology, the way he was using it. And he made a comment, it's like, he knows that that's not the terminology most people use, but within his school, that's the terminology that they use. And myself and one other person who was sitting near me were curious, like, okay, this is interesting, like where does that come from? Why use that terminology that is so different from the way other people use that terminology? And so we went and had a chat to him, and we were able to find out. you know, what he meant by that, or within his school or tradition, why they use the terminology that way. So it's really valuable, I think, to make these, well, just as in terms of expanding knowledge, it's really valuable to be exposed to these different people and have this interactive ability to communicate with them and understand a little bit more. And then another aspect, of course, is it's really valuable just to make these personal connections. I think it's so worthwhile having these organizations that bring people together in the way that this conference has done, and then acts as a way to present Qigong to the public. Now, of course, we all, each as individuals, present Qigong to the public ourselves, but to, you know, have this collective representation, I think it's so worthwhile. So Clayton and others involved with organising this conference have done a really good job of putting it together. I think they can be very proud of it. Again, like I mentioned, so many of the attendees were really, really happy with what they experienced here. And I think it's also an interesting environment because there were a few people, I guess, relatively new to Qigong who were there. But a lot of the people there, not just the presenters, a lot of the people attending were very experienced Qigong instructors themselves. But within that, I think, you know, even people with a lot of experience would have taken away different things from different presenters that will inform their own understanding of Qigong, that will inform their practice and their future teaching. You know, even if it's just tiny little nuggets, tiny little morsels, but things that will help them in, again, their own practice or in their sharing with other people, with their students and people who come to their classes, that, you know, they'll be able to enrich their teaching that much more. So I think that's about all I have to say about the conference. Just maybe a few more comments about what's going on here. So you can see there's a, well, it's in the background there, there's a lake in the background at the back of Clayton's house, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to go a little bit closer. So I've gone a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more what's happening on top of the water here. So it's quite calm, right? But you can see there's like these little ripples going across the surface of the water. It's quite literally, it's the calm before the storm here. So it's just been upgraded to a Category 3 hurricane, Hurricane Helene, which is, I think, due to make landfall in, well, very soon, next hour or two. Not too close to here though. And so we do have a group of Long White Cloud Qigong instructors and students who hopefully we're actually getting together, and we're having a short retreat over the coming weekend, over the next 4 days from tomorrow. And we're very much hoping that this hurricane isn't going to interfere with that. At this moment, it looks like it's going to be okay. That the hurricane's going to be far enough off to the west of where we are that it won't affect us too much, and that it will largely have gone past by the time we're due to head to the location of our retreat. But yeah, it's an interesting time waiting, literally calm before the storm, but hopefully that passes just fine, so we can have a great retreat together. Anyway, just another little thing that's going on. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. I look forward to seeing you on another one soon.